Today's video is sponsored by Blackwonder. Make sure to check out the description down below for more details. Boy oh boy, I sure do love playing hit 2007 video game Team Fortress 2. Nah. Okay, the peak of comedy, dude. Ooh. Good heavens! Alright, let's do some chaos, yeah. Take it. A random crit. Jolly G Willikers though, if only there was a way to enjoy and play Team Fortress 2 twice as much, or maybe even 10 times as much. Holy fuck! But what exactly is TF2 times 10? Well, it's TF2 times 10. All weapon stats and attributes are multiplied tenfold, both the pros and the cons. Take the atomizer for example. Instead of 1 bonus jump, it has 10. Instead of a 50% slower deploy penalty, it's a 500% slower deployment. Amazing. For the sake of ranking in this video, all the weapons will be based off their usage on Hightower or Higher Tower as the map of choice, since it's the most popular one times 10 servers usually like to run. With the unnecessary explanation of a game mode that a primary school student could figure out, let's see which weapons can mutilate the masses when multiplied, and which ones are so weak they make a paper cut look deadly. These weapons do more harm than help. A hassle that hurts you, and only you. Either these weapons deal no damage, reduce your health to 1, or give you syphilis. The Sandman and Vitasaw just drop your health to 1, allowing even a simple cough to kill you. The Panic Attack, Quickie Bomb Launcher, and Sun on a Stick all deal 0 damage. Similarly, the Sharpened Volcano Fragment and Traumlin Shiv also deal 0 damage, but they still have damage over time effects, so that's something, I guess. Finally, in F tier, we have a bunch of asterisks. Arguably, you could actually use these to attack someone. It'd be an absolute pain in the ass, but it is possible to do something with them. Such as the Pain Train. 100% increased damage from bullets means you'll die extremely quickly, but hey, plus 10 capture rate. Ignore how the capture rate stops at plus 4 though. The Candy Cane is in a strikingly similar sinking ship, but is somehow seemingly worse. At least with the Pain Train you get a cap bonus. The Candy Cane doesn't drop any health kits on kill, leaving you with a 250% damage increase from all explosions. Then we have the Gas Passer and Neon Annihilator. This is easily the best of the worst. The Gas Passer does recharge fairly quickly at 6 seconds, allowing you to get guaranteed crits with the Neon Annihilator. Just be warned that if they survive that crit swing though, that the Neon won't deal any more damage. It's a one-time use case on wet players only. The Gas Passer as a standalone too isn't that good, especially when giving up Pyro's exceptionally stronger secondaries. We also have the Red Tape Recorder. A level 3 sentry has 682 health, and the Red Tape Recorder just rolls it back into a level 1 sentry, which has 474 health. And then it very, very, very slowly starts to destroy the sentry. It's garbage. Undeniably though, the worst weapon in times 10 has got to be the Extinguisher, oddly enough. Not only is it incapable of dealing damage at all, it's genuinely the only weapon that actually helps the enemy, since hitting an enemy on fire extinguishes them and deals 0 damage as well. On top of that, as a super slow draw and holster period, and for some reason an extremely long 200% negative slower firing speed, which isn't a stat on the weapon anymore, but still has it. The times 10 guys just really hate the Extinguisher, I guess. Dumb. That's what you are if you dare to duel someone with a disgusting, downright dreadful weapon like these. While F tier weapons are actively awful, DRT weapons are just simply put bad, having a subpar damage output or being too gimmicky to be consistent enough. Take for example the Caber and Solemn Vow. Both have a swing speed penalty that makes you wait for paint to dry every time you want to hit somebody with it. The Airstrike and Beggar's Bazooka might seem good at first, but you'll soon realize it's impossible to kill anyone with either weapon. The Beggars requires a direct hit to deal damage and, well, you see the screen right now, you're not hitting anyone with that. And the Airstrike is the same. The difference being it's actually possible to get at least one rocket to land consistently on someone. Only issue is getting the other three to land properly. The Homewrecker is another weapon that deals 0 damage to players, but the gimmick of insta-killing a dispenser or sentry or removing sappers is the same, and I thought F tier was a bit too harsh for it since you wouldn't normally be using this against players anyways. Here's a quick speedrun of some weapons that all can deal damage but hardly hit hard enough or cause havoc. The Atomizer, the Hot Hand, the Reserve Shooter, the Cleaner's Carbide, the Latondra, and the Enforcer. In the case of the guns here, their firing rate and clip size is way too slow to get consistent damage out of it. There's also a long list of weapons which are terrible in normal TF2 which barely have their stats changed, making them just as terrible as before. We're talking about Bonk, the Bison, the Equalizer, the Thermal Thruster, the Fur Degree, the Fire Axe, the Lock and Load, the Thompson, the Eureka Effect, the Razorback, the Stock Kukri, the Bushwhacker, the Cloak and Dagger, and the Short Circuit. Very minute and minor stat changes to all of them bad. Finally though, we reach some weapons which have some spice to them. Of course the spices are like mint toothpaste or peppermint. They aren't that spicy, okay? The Scotch Resistance can put down up to 68 stickies, which is one away from the funny number, 67. With so many sticky bombs, you can cover the entire map and kill anyone nearly anywhere, as long as they show up 3 to 4 business days after you throw down a sticky bomb, because they take 8 entire seconds to arm. Do you know how long 8 seconds is?
Peter, what are you doing? Crack? What the fuck?
It's pretty long. The Scotsman's Skull Cutter is capable of dealing upwards of 585 damage on a crit swing, easily killing nearly anyone who gets in your way, which will be no one, since it's impossible to move with it out. As a result, they gotta be a soldier with it, using it as a market gardener with the sticky bomb launcher, or do this really weird quick swap method to make a move like you're a chess piece. The Buffalo Steak Sandwich is another garbage weapon that, if it weren't for the existence of the Fist of Steel, would be an F tier. Congrats. Well done. Which is the worst thing a steak can be, you fucking donkey. The Eviction Notice isn't that bad, but it's so heavily outclassed by another weapon much further up on the list that it has legitimately 0 niche or use case in ×10. It can't deal any damage at all, but it does passively speed up heavy even while revved up. Better off just sticking around to see its evolution though. Despite the name, you're never going to get a kill with the Killing Gloves of Boxing. The payoff of 50 seconds of guaranteed critical hits sounds real promising, but that's just there to lure you in with the Sisyphean task of hitting someone at least 2 times with the KGB. And that's assuming they have 125 health and nothing more. Clearly, these weapons aren't going to come in clutch, but they can cut it kinda close. Let's start with the simple for the sake of my sanity. Weapons that hardly have any stats changed, but are actually kinda good. Criticola, Pistol, the Stock Bat, Holy Mackerel, Boston Basher, Cow Mangler, the Shotgun, Base Jumper, the Disciplinary Action, Sticky Jumper, the Fist, Holiday Punch, Southern Hospitality, Bone Saw, Amputator, Stock Sniper Rifle, Bizarre Bargain, Hitman's Heatmaker, the Huntsman, SMG, Girardi, the Stock Revolver, the Spicicle, the Ure, and the Stock Sapper. Editing this in a cohesive manner is going to be a fucking pain. Let's finally get to the good stuff, okay? The Force of Nature has some pretty significant changes made to it which may seem to make it special, but it functions nearly identical to how it did before.
He won't know what hit him. He's not gonna know what hit him.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Come on. Alright, well, good enough. You get one shot that knocks people back, and while there is a damage penalty on it, the increased bullet count kinda cancels that out. The soda popper also runs into this problem, made even worse I find, by not even giving you additional bonus jumps of hype. It's about as effective as it normally is. The babyface blaster is another weapon that more or less functions the exact same. Scout passively runs 20% slower with this equipped, regardless of boost level. However, he barely loses boost upon jumping or taking damage. You move slower in times 10 than normal TF2 with this out, but at least a mosquito bite won't bring down your boost at all. The Pretty Boy pocket pistol also has the same niche more or less, except you only get one shot instead of 9, which heals you for 70 HP. Good for sniping people outside of a fight, terrible when actually in a fight. The Fan of War is a pretty bad item in normal TF2, but is surprisingly a bit better in times 10. Sure, it's dealing even less damage than before, but its near instant switch to and holster speed means you can actually be bothered to use it for once. Combine that with its somewhat strong synergy with the backscatter, and it's decently deserving of C tier at least. The black box is nearly identical to the pocket pistol, except it's an explosive rocket launcher that's actually capable of dealing good damage and nearly impossible to miss with. Soldier does get access to weapons that not only heal him better, but also hit enemies harder though, making the black box itself rather redundant. The backburner is Pyro's worst flamethrower in this game mode and is so outclassed by the Flog it isn't even funny. The Flog has a degree in quantum and theoretical physics, while the backburner has a theoretical degree in theoretical physics. It isn't even close. Heavy has access to a whole subway with all the sandwiches he can give away or eat. Doesn't do all that much though, I find, especially when it's second fiddle to the second banana. Yin and yang, life and death, offense and defense, the warrior spirit and the fist of steel. The Warrior Spirit Supreme damage increase, crit resistance, and health on kill makes it an extremely offensive option for obliterating enemies, dealing 260 damage a hit. While you might one-hit KO anyone, you're prone to getting knocked out yourself due to the 300% damage vulnerability.
Ah, this is bad!
This American boot just kicked your ass back to Russia.
Who is not ready to fight?
Not afraid! What's that gonna do? Try it! I dare you! I fought. Hey, what's that word in the middle of the screen right now? Damage? Using the Fist of Steel as a heavy, never heard of it before. Because you're just completely immune to bullets, rockets, grenades, fire, anything. Except a baseball bat. Yes, you turn into a literal tank. Speaking of, War Thunder. Now, there are nearly 3,000 tanks, trucks, planes, choppers, boats, and whatever the hell the special Kai Chi is trying to be. It's amazing, is what it is. And so is War Thunder's sense of realism and authenticity when depicting vehicle combat. Is it any surprise that my 188 ton-pound Moss with his 128mm cannon absolutely decimated and destroyed your sad little SCM-36? Yes. Yes it is. Not the actual outcome of the fight, of course. No way you're gonna win that. Just the way of how shockingly smooth and fluid the fight felt. Zero chance you're ever gonna win that, but you know, at least you got a front view seat to War Thunder's in-depth damage details and display, and crew management systems. I do feel kinda bad about absolutely demolishing your pathetic excuse of a vehicle off the face of the earth though, so I'll let you in on a little secret that I'm legally obligated to share with you. If you're a new player or haven't played in 6 months, and you click the promo link in the description down below, you'll get 7 days of free premium, 100,000 silver lions, an exclusive vehicle decoration, and free vehicles that I can also destroy with one of the prime pinnacles of German engineering, a Panzer. War Thunder is free to play on PC, console, and mobile if you're still sitting on the fence, and has a massive, passionate community behind it. Maybe a bit too passionate at times. Now if only they will add the Avro Canada CF105 Aero. Once again, links are below in the description and comment section for War Thunder and its new player promo packs for a limited time. These guns are good. Not great, but if you need to gib or gore some guy, these guns got ya. It's at this moment where I regret doing a weapon tier list because 60% of them belong in B and A tier, and there's no more cheap or easy, yeah, the stats are barely changed around shenanigans anymore. I gotta go in-depth on each and every single one. The stock scattergun, the good old baseline of what's hot or not, and despite only having a single stat increase being reload speed, it's still solid surprisingly, not getting outscaled at all. The backscatter though is my personal go-to. Not only does it somehow gain an additional shot because negative 34% somehow equals negative 10%, I guess. Like, I get it would be negative 3.4. I suppose the game would just round it to whatever works, being 10%, but why is like the backscatter the only weapon in the game that has it like this, huh? Anyways, much like most news articles nowadays, the accuracy on this thing sucks, requiring you to be right beside your enemy to get consistent damage out of it. But if you're that close, you may as well go for a melee hit on them. Oh wait, isn't there a melee that has near instant equip speed, and doesn't that give mini crits as well, which for some odd reason get converted to crits on the backscatter? Even ignoring that synergy though, the backscatter still consistently deals crits on any close backshot. Sexual innuendo joke goes here. For scout secondaries, take your pick on what you want to spam out. Mad Milk for heals or the guillotine to hurt their feels. Both have incredibly quick recharge rates, essentially meaning they're always ready to go. Soldier is living the dream though, with all his secondaries being extremely strong, solid selections. The gunboats entirely prevent any self-blast damage from being taken, meaning you can freely rocket jump around the map without worry. Meanwhile, all the banners have greatly extended duration time, lasting for around 80 seconds. Combine that with their passive effects like the battalion's backup, providing Soldier an extra 200 health, or the conscious 40 health a second regen, and you are solidly set as Soldier. Although, for sounding super strong, you might be a bit surprised to see them in B tier, and that's personally because they're kinda second fiddle to an even stronger Soldier secondary, somehow. Soldier's melees though are more or less the exact same. The Market Gardener has the same gimmick but greatly increased melee range, meaning you'll for sure never miss another swing again. The escape plan also functions identical to its base game counterpart, but comes with a passive 10% speed boost for some reason. While a step up from the backburner, the degreaser just doesn't have enough oomph to really make it stand out to succeed in times 10, especially with how absurdly strong the other flamethrowers really are. Great for playing pyro combo with the flare guns and such, but that's really about it. Speaking of, the flare gun! It's the exact same, zero stat change to it all, and despite that, it's still super strong, especially when paired with the degreaser, as it's nearly impossible to miss a flare punch with it. If your aim is just that terrible though, why not use the detonator or scorch shot? It's quite literally impossible to miss with the scorch shot. The explosion radius on this is massive. Granted, hardly does any damage, but fuck is it annoying to be spammed with this. It's like being re-gifted a gift I bought the person. Like, I got you a Gundam model because it's what you wanted. If I wanted it, I wouldn't have given it to you, okay? The Squirt Shot is a perfect pairing with the Flog, at least, for building oomph up. It also has this fun little quirk with when you're in the air and you hit yourself with it. The detonator, on the other hand, is just what I've always wanted it to be, an actual mobility tool for Pyro that feels good to use. I mean, sure, the damage it deals is a bit much, but hey, look at me go, flying around at the speed of sound. Just whip out the back scratcher and deal 263 damage to some sad, unsuspecting sniper. Plus, every single health pack you pick up will put you right back to full, cancelling out the detonator's devastating self-damage. Demo's only really mediocre primary is the loose cannon, which functions nearly identical to its base game counterpart, minus a bit of knockback. You could argue it makes double donks hard to get, but it's funnier. We also have the stock sticky bomb launcher, which is the exact same, minus a gazillion spare ammo you can now freely spam with. Yay. Then there's the stock bottle, which crits while sticky jumping, which is something, I guess. The main problem with this is that sticky jumping into a garden is a lot harder than rocket jumping into a garden. You really need to use the base jumper to get much consistent use out of it, so it's just better off to use the bottle for its intended purpose of bashing someone on the head with in a bar fight, rather than making it a makeshift market gardener. Much more exciting though is the Persian Persuader and the Claymore. Both of these occupy the same sort of niche with the splendid screen, running into enemies like a drunk driver and then fleeing the scene of the crime before the authorities get involved. Personally though, I prefer the Claymore just because the extended charge duration is a lot more fun to play around with than a permanent upcharge of a charge. Nessie's 9 Iron is also a reskin that I forgot existed, but it does have unique stats, surprisingly. It's kind of boring for a ×10 weapon, but I could genuinely see it as a vanilla TF2 item.
2,000 lives.
Oh my god, no, please.
That's what we like.
Ah. 2000 HP spy, oh my god. We also have our 2 worst miniguns, which is saying a lot, trust me. The Tomislav is really awkward to use, being perfectly accurate, acting more like a sniper rifle than a minigun. Ah, my finger! Compared to the Brass Beast, which instantly kills anything it looks at. Thankfully though, when it's spun up, it's impossible for the person to move with it. If you ever wanted to roleplay as a sentry gun, the Brass Beast is for you. Despite how devastatingly powerful it is though, there's a lot of counterplays to it, unlike the remaining miniguns. The Frontier Justice gains 10 crits instead of 1, which may sound strong on paper until you realize you only got 2 shots in the chamber from the normal 3. Results may vary based on aim and enemy health. Ironically, unlike the Widowmaker, each shot only costs 3 metal from the standard 30, meaning as long as you nick someone, you'll be refunded exactly what you sent out. We also can't forget that super niche 100% damage increase when shooting the same person your sentry is targeting. Do you recall when I talked about sentries hitting the gym, having 682 health? What if there was a weapon that healed nearly a third of its health and could recover the sentry if it ever, God forbid, came close to being destroyed? The Rescue Ranger, ladies and gentlemen. If only someone would rescue my enemies from the hell I've put them in. Don't worry if the sentry does somehow get destroyed though, because the Jag can just rebuild it nearly instantly to level 3 again, like nothing ever happened. Thankfully, it isn't capable of repairing sentries at all, unlike the stock wrench, which has a 20% faster swing speed to really make sure you buff out all the bullets. The Overdose is peak utility, granting Medic a massive speed boost while equipped, but dealing 0 damage. Despite that though, it's great for getting to and from spots or quick swapping to your melee to deal quick damage to and from. The Crusader's crossbow just has an increased reload speed, meaning you can pump more heroin needles into your team, keeping them alive before they suffer from a fatal heart attack. Or a fatal gunshot. The Blutsauger is a personal pick though. It has greatly increased health drain at 20 a second, but heals for 30 a hit. Meaning it's essentially aggressively spamming everyone's favorite move, leech life, over and over and over and over again. As for healing people though, it's really hard to beat the quick fix's ridiculously absurd healing rate rivaling, well, I guess any healthcare system really. They all sort of suck. Unfortunately though, the quick fix provides even less healing than before. The Mega Heal Uber though is the real claim to fame here though, as it completely cancels out one of the strongest weapons in ×10, preventing any and all knockback. We'll touch in on that later though. The Kritzkrieg builds Uber faster, like a lot faster, which kinda doesn't matter that much since hitting resupply cabinets also gives full Uber, so, you know. The Vaccinator is just a worse stocked medigun. Sure, it gives full damage immunity to a single damage type, but getting caught in the crossfire of a heavy soldier and pyro only protects you from 2 out of the 3. And let's not forget how common demo knights and spies can be here. It's still pretty strong at shutting down several classes, but stay safe around sharp objects. The Sydney Sleeper and Machina have increased charge speed and increased damage respectively, which makes their damage output actually respectable and capable of keeping up with the greater health values most classes tend to have in ×10. The Classic though is genuinely the strongest sniper rifle if you can aim well with it, as a near instant full charge but can only deal damage on headshots. But baby, I'm a crack shot. The the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious sniper sword is sniper's best option for dealing with someone who gets too close for comfort. While it may not deal any damage while sniper is safe and sound above half health, the moment he gets shot, stabbed, or set aflame, just slash him with this to deal 228 damage. If you're worried about sniper survivability at such low health though, don't worry because there's still that super secret secondary that's still remaining, which should be obvious by now what it is. That greatly increases sniper survivability, and the threshold the Shanan, the sniper equalizer works at. The Ambassador is in a similar boat to the Classic, being powerful as long as you can aim with it. While you can actually deal damage on a body shot, the slower firing rate and damage penalty makes headshots the preferred option. And thankfully, baby, I'm a crack shot. As long as the gun has a scope. The stock knife sees its placement here thanks to having a 90% faster swing speed, making face stabs, back stabs, and other intert bullshit a lot more common. The Big Earner is a weird knife whose ranking I've had significant difficulty with placing. While it does have a health cost, dropping Spy down to 75 health, it's pretty preventable with the Invis Watch or the Dead Ringer. Upon killing someone though, you receive a speed boost for 30 seconds. Great for getting another kill or running away from a fight with a lot more ease, but doesn't really do much beyond that. B tier seems best for now though. The unanimous unbalance of ×10 has been unusually absent up till now. A tier is where the unbalanced but unbroken units lie. Starting with Scout's strongest shooter, the Shortstop. With the only downside being 200% increased knockback, which helps more than hurts, the Shortstop's single upside is giving Scout 375 health, enough to survive and contend with the extremely strong near insta-kill weapons we'll be seeing a lot of shortly. The Winger is also a semi-solid secondary. While I don't think its combat potential is amazing, having only 2 shots, its damage is still respectable for softening up targets from afar. The main appeal of the Winger though is the ability to leap over tall buildings in a single bound. Great for positioning yourself for ambushes or getting away if someone shows up with kryptonite. Scout's only really good melee though is the Rap Assassin, which is pretty vanilla, not gonna lie. Instead of being able to throw 1 ornament out though, you can throw out 10, dealing decent damage and inflicting enemies with 8 seconds of bleed, because comedy is hard. Wowee, it's nearly every single one of Soldier's rocket launchers. We got the stock rocket launcher, which has increased ammo and more importantly heavily reduced self-blast damage. We got the rocket jumper, which is more or less the same as before, but now with even more ammo. And the Liberty launcher. What's wrong? Oh, you think that just because the Liberty launcher has a damage penalty, it's bad, right? That it would deal 0 damage, right? Wrong. It still has a 25% damage penalty, but it also has no self-damage, meaning you can freely rocket jump around like crazy. A gazillion rockets in this clip, meaning you can spam like crazy, and rocket-powered rockets, I guess, which you can hit people with like crazy. The self-proclaimed worst launcher is somehow the second best one to use. Call me Dave, because that's insane. Soldier's best secondary in my opinion though has to be the Man Treads. It's actually really jarring and weird to use them due to how much air control they give you. Despite that though, they're perfectly designed to counter all the extremely overpowered bullshit times 10 is known for. Being knocked around by air blast or knockback, complete knockback immunity. A guy with a gazillion health, a single stomp will do upwards of 1,000 damage if you land on him. The only real difficulty is figuring out how to do the Mario. The Flog allows you to have permanent crit upkeep for 20 whole seconds, and with how easy it is to build oomph by spamming the Scorch Shot, it's an incredibly easy weapon to wreck and wield. The Dragon's Fury though is the inverse of the stock flamethrower in a lot of ways. Not only is it the only non-flame based flamethrower relying on you to actually aim, it's the only flamethrower that doesn't have any air blast buffs attached to it at all. The trade-off, however, is a greatly increased fireball fire rate, capable of melting anyone with a few puffs. The thing that makes Pyro extremely powerful though in times 10 is the power jack. There's genuinely 0 reason to use any other melee. The massive passive speed increase means you'll be running circles around anyone. It does have a 100% damage increase to bullets, meaning you'll be taking double damage from anything that shoots at you, but just dodge it. You're moving at the speed of sound already. The booties also boost Demo speed, give him complete turn control, a ton of health, and the ability to charge right again after killing someone. They're pretty good. The Iron Bomber and the stock grenade launcher are complete opposites of each other though. The grenade launcher needs to be preemptively loaded up with 10 grenades before shotgun blasting all of them out. Devastating if caught off guard though. The Iron Bomber, on the other hand, fires clusters of 4 bombs at a time, giving you more wiggle room to actually aim at, and if you're caught off guard, to fight back with. Demo shields are also one of the strongest defensive and offensive options in times 10, depending on what you need. The Tide Turner is definitely the weakest of the bunch, especially since booties cover the 100% turn control, but they can still come in handy. The Charge and Targe gives complete explosion damage immunity and 50% fire damage resistance to Demo, making him even tankier than before. The Splendid Screen on the other hand has weaker resistances, but can still save you from a shitty situation. Its main appeal though is the greatly increased charge damage. Running over anyone will surely turn them into roadkill. Combine that with the Eyelander, who boosts his charge damage even further per head, on top of increased health and extremely stretchy arms. Seriously, the range on this thing is ridiculous. It makes killing Pyros a breeze. And you'll be making William Wallace proud. Then there's the Zatoichi, which while being extremely strong is very easy to counter. Instead of a generalized offense and mobility option like the Eyelander is, the Zatoichi is perfect for tanking and toughing out strong enemies or groups of them, giving you 625 health on kill. Combine that with the shield's damage resistance and the booties, and you're nearly unstoppable. until someone else also equips the Zatoichi. The stock minigun is pretty boring all things considered. It just gives Heavy a flat 50% faster movement speed while deployed, which really isn't all that noticeable. The real benefit of the stock minigun is the lack of ammo consumption or damage penalties that all other miniguns have, allowing you to still remain mobile but fight back without too much hassle. For secondaries, the Delocus bar is the best bet, granting Heavy a whopping 800 HP when eaten. Fat fuck. The second banana though is also pretty good at restoring your health, being eaten almost instantly. You may have to spam it a bit to get back to full, but it means you won't be caught off guard unlike the sandwich. Ooh! The guy. My bananas. Heavy's best melee though, and arguably the strongest melee in all of x10, is the Groove. Similar to the Power Jack, it provides a massive passive speed boost, making the slowest class in the game the fastest, even while revved up. The downsides can be completely ignored too, as long as you don't pull out the Gru, allowing you to zip and zoom around to your heart's content, filling everyone else's heart with hate. The Wrangler. Need I say more? The Gunslinger is the only weapon that really boosts Engineer's direct survivability, giving him 375 health. Mini sentries also do get buffed health-wise, but their damage output is really pitiful and only useful for annoying players rather than doing any real damage. Best paired with the Widowmaker though. The stock syringe gun acts more like a shotgun, shoving needles of heroin right into the heads of anyone who comes close. Be extremely careful when dealing with medics. You might laugh at one tiny little injection, but a dozen doses will surely leave you for dead. The stock medigun is really the only surefire way to avoid the dozen insta-kill weapons you'll surely come across. It isn't really buffed all that much in x10, just having decreased overheal decay, but being able to gain a free Uber from the resupply cabinet really helps out. Pair it with the Uber Saw to ensure you'll always have full Uber, as one hit is all it takes. Just don't miss, as that swing speed penalty is pretty painful. Sniper's strongest secondary and item overall is the Darwin's Danger Shield, hands down, granting complete fire immunity and buffing his health to 375, allowing him to stay in scoped longer. Sniper v sniper fights are also a complete annoyance with this thing equipped, just like the good old days. I do not miss this thing one fucking bit. The Diamondback gives 10 crits upon backstabbing someone or sapping a building. Sure, it might have a 30% damage penalty, but crits kinda render that downside useless, and unlike the Ambassador, any idiot can use this without really needing to aim. Trust me, I am idiot. There's a special place besides Satan for those who strive off the suffering of others that seemingly comes from how stupidly strong these guns are. A tier at least had decent counterplay that could be overcome with some creativity, but here in S tier, oh no. The only way to fight fire is with fire, as they say. And in an ironic twist, the stock flamethrower isn't strong due to its fire, it's due to its air blast that hounds me with a headache. This is what Demo Knight and Soldier players should really be complaining about with Air Blast. It costs barely any ammo, can be spammed, and sends players straight to the goddamn moon. Stay pal. You're in hell! You're in hell! You're in hell! There's no escape! You fool! Thank God Hightower doesn't have any insta-kill cliffs on it. Oh wait, it has a fucking massive one at the back of the map! The direct hit at least dials it back down a bit, okay? Sure is capable of wiping off a small nation from the face of the earth, but that's only if you suck at dodging. Strong for sure, and certainly deserving of S tier, but it's definitely on the lower end of it. The same goes for the Hulong Heater. Extremely strong with massive damage output. I just love the smell of napalm in the morning. Sure, it can kill anything extremely quickly, but it requires a bit of timing with the revving, unlike any other minigun. You can't sprint around the map with the Gru equipped, shooting anything and everything. Instead, you can only really rev this and shoot when something actually shows up. The ammo drain is just way too strong to be used in a prolonged fight as well, but for quick hit and runs, it's perfect. Do you recall way back at the start of this video when I trashed the Sandman and Vitasaw for lowering your health down to 1 HP? Yeah, the kunai doesn't care. Sure, 1 HP doesn't leave a lot of room for mistakes, but once you get one single stab off... Getting a single stab off is also really easy to do with the stock Invis watch, by the way, as it has near instant cloak and decloak speed, meaning you only really need to worry about getting behind someone for a second to stab them. Once again, thanks.
Frost. The burning you feel, it is this prison to hold me. You can't escape. Be gone. Yes, that's it. Destroy. Keep them coming. This will hurt.
So, S-tier weapons can at least be countered by a mirror match. Air blast beats air blast, direct hit beats direct hit. But what if there was a weapon that was so strong, so fucking powerful, so incapable of losing to anything, that even in a mirror match setting, it would just refuse to lose, even to itself? Sure, the physical damage output that Natasha has is pitiful, but the psychological damage, being slowed down to a halt while a heavy runs circles around you, any hit you do land on him being cancelled out immediately by healing 30 health a second, and he isn't going to run out of ammo anytime soon either, is living hell on Hightower. And by God, I don't regret a single bit of it. Once again, thanks to Warfunder for sponsoring today's video, and for giving new players and 6 months old returning players a free bonus bundle if they sign up with the links down below in the description, including 7 days of free premium, 100,000 silver lions, and exclusive vehicle decoration, but only for a limited time. Warfunder is free to download on PC and console. If only they'll ever add the legendary SAR tank to the game now. And that's the ×10 tier list. Several video file corruptions and playtest crashouts later, the game mode everyone loves to play against until someone else uses the 5 mega OP guns against them and they get bored and leave the server. Speaking of, per usual, I've linked several server IP addresses in the description down below if you want to play ×10 by yourself. Really though, for this video, all you had to do was focus on like the last 10 minutes rather than the full thing, since why would you even bother using the Sandman or something like that? But not me, I had to go for the 100% completionist route. Fuck me. In other news though, YouTube memberships. This channel, we got them now. We got custom emotes you can use in the comments that somehow got past YouTube's censorship policy, early access to some videos, and everyone's favorite, the Star Wars credit roll with your name on it, so you can tell the teacher the video project I've been slaving on for a whole month is actually your idea. So sign up and subscribe and all that fun stuff. I'm gonna go lie down now.